The average plumbing service call in America costs somewhere between $200 and $400. And you know what the crazy part is? About 80% of the time, the fix takes a professional plumber less than 30 minutes. That means you're paying hundreds of dollars for something you could almost certainly handle yourself with a few basic tools and a little know-how. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most common reasons people call a plumber and show you exactly how to fix each one on your own. Plus, stick around to the end because I'll share exactly how to know when you actually do need to call a professional and how to save money even when you make that call. Let's get into it. Here's the truth. Most plumbing repairs aren't complicated. They just feel intimidating because nobody ever showed you what to do. Once you see how these fixes work, you'll wonder why you ever paid someone else to do them. So let's start with the most common one of all. The number one reason people call a plumber is a clogged drain. Whether it's a kitchen sink that won't empty or a bathroom drain that's barely trickling, this is something you can fix in about 10 minutes. But here's what I want you to avoid. Do not reach for chemical drain cleaners. I know they're tempting because they seem easy, but those chemicals eat away at your pipes over time, especially if you have older galvanized or PVC drain lines. I've seen pipes that were practically dissolving from the inside out because someone poured chemical cleaner down them every month for years. Instead, start with a good plunger. And I'm not talking about the basic flat-bottom plunger most people have sitting next to their toilet. For a sink, you want a cup plunger, the kind with a flat rubber bottom that can seal flat against the sink basin. Fill the sink with about 3 to 4 inches of water, place the plunger directly over the drain, and give it 15 to 20 firm pumps. You want to create pressure, not just splash water around. Keep the seal tight against the bottom of the sink the entire time. If that doesn't do it, the clog is probably sitting in your P-trap. That's the curved section of pipe underneath your sink that looks like the letter U or P turned sideways. Place a bucket underneath it, loosen the 2 slip nuts by hand or with a pair of channel lock pliers, and pull the trap down. You'll be amazed at what comes out. Clean it thoroughly, put it back together hand tight, then snug the slip nuts just a quarter turn past hand tight with your pliers. Run the water and check for drips. That's it. Clog gone. Now let's talk about the second most common call. And honestly, this one drives people the craziest. A running toilet. That constant sound of water trickling into the bowl can waste up to 200 gallons a day and add serious money to your water bill. But here's the good news. 9 times out of 10, it's a $5 fix that takes less than 10 minutes. Let me quickly explain how your toilet works so this makes sense. When you flush, a rubber flapper at the bottom of the tank lifts up, lets water rush into the bowl, then drops back down to seal the tank so it can refill. A fill valve on the left side of the tank controls the water coming in and shuts off when the water reaches the right level. That's really all there is to it. If your toilet is running, lift the tank lid and look inside. First, check the flapper. Push down on it with your finger. If the running stops, your flapper isn't sealing properly. It's probably warped or covered in mineral buildup. To replace it, shut off the water at the valve behind the toilet, flush to empty the tank, unhook the old flapper from the 2 pegs on the overflow tube, and snap the new one on. They're universal. about $4 to $5 at any hardware store. Hook the chain back up so there's about half an inch of slack, turn the water back on, and you're done. If the flapper seems fine, watch the water level. If water is flowing over the top of the overflow tube, your fill valve is set too high. There's usually an adjustment screw or clip on the fill valve. Turn it or slide it down until the water level sits about 1 inch below the top of the overflow tube. That should solve it. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It's packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. The third repair that sends people reaching for the phone is a dripping faucet. That slow, steady drip might not seem like a big deal, but it can waste over 3,000 gallons a year, and the fix is usually straightforward. Most modern kitchen and bathroom faucets use a single cartridge inside the handle. When that cartridge wears out, you get a drip. First, shut off the water at the 2 supply valves underneath the sink. Turn them clockwise until they stop. Then open the faucet to release any remaining pressure. Now, most single-handle faucets have a small set screw either under a decorative cap on the front of the handle or tucked underneath it. Pop that cap off with a flathead screwdriver. Remove the set screw with an Allen wrench, usually a 3/32 or 1/8 inch size, and pull the handle straight off. Underneath, you'll see the cartridge held in place by a retaining clip or nut. Remove that, then pull the cartridge straight out. I'd recommend taking the old cartridge with you to the hardware store so you can match it exactly. Different brands use completely different cartridges, and you need the right one. Slide the new cartridge in the same orientation as the old one. Replace the retaining clip, put the handle back on, and turn the water back on slowly. Let it run for a minute to clear any debris and check for drips. That steady, annoying drip should be completely gone. Next up is low water pressure, and this one has the simplest fix of all in most cases. If you're only noticing low pressure at one faucet, the problem is almost always a clogged aerator. That's a small screen tip at the end of your faucet spout. Over time, mineral deposits and tiny debris particles build up in that screen and restrict the flow. Unscrew the aerator by hand. If it's stuck, wrap a rubber band around it for grip or use pliers with a rag to protect the finish. Once it's off, you'll see layers of small screens and a flow restrictor. Soak the whole assembly in white vinegar for 30 minutes to dissolve the mineral buildup, then scrub gently with an old toothbrush. Screw it back on, and I guarantee you'll notice a dramatic difference. For shower heads, same idea. Fill a plastic bag with white vinegar, tie it around the shower head so the head is submerged, leave it overnight, and run the shower for a minute in the morning. If you're experiencing low pressure throughout the entire house, though, check your main shutoff valve and your water meter valve. Sometimes after a repair or a meter reading, these get left partially closed. Make sure they're fully open. If that doesn't help and it's a whole house issue, that's when you might want to call a professional, because it could be a pressure regulator or a supply line problem. The fifth and final common call is a leaky pipe joint or supply line. Finding a small puddle under your sink or a slow drip at a pipe connection is scary, but most of the time, the fix is simple. Start by drying everything off with a towel, then lay down a paper towel and watch to identify exactly where the water is coming from. This matters because you need to fix the right connection. If it's a compression fitting, like the ones on your supply lines or shutoff valves, try tightening it just 1/8 of a turn with a wrench. Don't go crazy. Over-tightening a compression fitting will actually make it leak worse by deforming the brass ferrule inside. If the supply line itself is old, cracked, or corroded, just replace it. Braided stainless steel supply lines cost about $8 to $12. They're flexible, and they connect with simple hand-tightened nuts that you snug up with a wrench. When connecting threaded fittings, wrap the male threads with 3 to 4 wraps of thread seal tape going clockwise, which is the same direction you'll screw the fitting on. This prevents the tape from bunching up. For connections that need a better seal, use pipe dope instead, especially on black iron or galvanized threads. Now let's talk about some common problems that can pop up across any of these repairs. First, frozen shutoff valves. If you haven't turned a valve in years, it might be seized from corrosion. Don't force it. Apply a few drops of penetrating oil. Let it sit for 10 minutes, then try gently working it back and forth. Forcing a corroded valve can snap it, and then you've got a real emergency. Second, stripped screws. If a set screw on a faucet handle won't budge, try a different size Allen wrench to make sure you have the right fit. If it's truly stripped, a screw extractor bit for your drill costs about $5 and works beautifully. Third, parts that don't match at the store. This is incredibly common. Always bring the old part with you. Take a photo of the brand name on your fixture or appliance before you go. Most hardware store employees are genuinely helpful if you can show them exactly what you're working with. Fourth, over-tightening. This is probably the single most common mistake I see. Plumbing connections need to be snug, not gorilla tight. When you over-tighten, you crack porcelain, strip threads, deform seals, and create the very leaks you're trying to prevent. Snug plus a quarter turn is your rule of thumb for most connections. And finally, if you open up a simple repair and discover corroded pipes, mold, or water damage behind the wall, stop. Document what you see and call a professional. Some problems are bigger than the original fix, and that's perfectly okay to acknowledge. Now, for that bonus tip I promised at the beginning. How do you know when you actually need a plumber? Here's my rule. If the repair involves your main sewer line, a gas line of any kind, your water heater's gas valve or electrical connections, any work that requires a permit in your area, or anything behind a wall that involves moving or rerouting pipes, call a licensed plumber. Those are situations where the risk of getting it wrong is just too high. But here's how to save money even when you do make that call. Before the plumber arrives, shut off the water to the affected area. Clear out everything under the sink or around the workspace, and write down exactly what's happening, when it started, and what you've already tried. Plumbers charge by the hour, and every minute they spend diagnosing or clearing a work area is money on your bill. I've seen people save $50 to $100 just by being prepared when the plumber walks in the door. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, the Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. You've got this.